What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel. And as you guys can tell by the title of the video, yep, I am doing another top 10 video. It is rare that I would ever do a top 10 video. I know the last top 10 video I did top 10 greatest NXT UK championship matches of all time, which if you guys have not checked out those videos, I recommend you check them out. Quite the list, to say the very least. But this one is going to be different. This one is going to be the top 10 NXT stars that need to be called up to the main roster. Now, the reason why I decided to do this one, excuse me, is because there are so many superstars on the NXT roster that need to be called up to the main roster. There are so many superstars on the roster currently. I figure why not have some of them get called up, right? But who knows who will ever get called up to the main roster. I know that within the last couple of years, you know, I know that we've had Rhea Ripley, we've had you know, Bianca Belair, Damian Priest, we've had Finn Balor get called back up to the main roster. You know, we've had Raquel Rodriguez, Aaliyah, Shotzi, quite the moray of talent getting called up from NXT. But this list might just surprise you. So hopefully you guys are ready for this top 10 video. If you guys are, and you guys want more top 10 videos in the future, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all of my social media. Links will be in the description below. And if you guys have fan mail that you guys want to send me, the info will be in the description as well. Let's kick things off with number 10. It is none other than Alba Fire, or I guess Kaylee Ray. You guys are probably wondering why Alba Fire of all people. So Alba Fire has been extremely dominant since getting called up from NXT UK over to NXT sometime this past year. Honestly, she's been on a massive roll as of late. She's already considered the number one contender to Mandy Rose and the NXT Women's title, and people forget that she became the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion of all time. Actually, truth be told, she became the longest reigning Women's Champion of the last decade plus. No other woman, actually, I don't think any other woman in the last, 10, 20, maybe 30 years has ever held a women's title longer than Alba Fire. I think, if you're talking, the last, I'd say 50 or 60 years, then maybe, then definitely, the Fabulous Moolah. I know that Moolah held the title for quite a while. Let's see. Let's see. Fabulous Moolah. Here we are. Oh, that's right. I remember she passed away in 2007. I almost forgot. I almost forgot about that. Let's have a look. Let's see. Let's see here. Gotta keep scrolling. let's see. Let's see. I'm like looking at this. Sorry guys, I apologize. I'm trying to find something where she held the title for quite a while. In fact, if I remember correctly, she held it longer than almost anybody in WWE, but I don't remember how long. Yeah, it doesn't say. I can't find anything. I don't really remember how long she was champion for. If I remember correctly, I don't remember. Okay, I thought so. Okay, so from what? Okay, so here we are. I had to type. I had to look it up in a different way. Okay, so apparently, she was champion. Apparently, she was champion for 30 years, which is insane. Apparently, she was also. Apparently, she had held the NWA Women's title for damn near 30 years, which is amazing. In fact, I think she's the only person in WWE to have ever held a title for that long. Nobody's ever done that. So when you look at, you know, female superstars who have held a certain, who have held championship gold for a good amount of time. You look at women like AJ Lee, who held the Divas title for 295 days. You look at Nikki Bella, who held the title for 301 days. And then you look at Charlotte Flair, who became the last Divas champion. She held it for what was it, like a little over 200 days. And then when she was when she became the first ever WWE Women's Champion, her title run continued on from there. So she held it for quite some time. So honestly, that's pretty impressive that she was able to that Alba Fire was able to stand in the test of time as one of the longest reigning women's champions of all time. Absolutely insane. And just that right there is the reason why she deserves to be in the main roster. Think of some of the talent that she could be in the ring with. Women like Bayley, women like Charlotte Flair, if she ever decides to come back. Ronda Rousey could be another really good test for Alba Fire. Even Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, Io Sky. Who else can I think of? Raquel Rodriguez, Aaliyah, Shotzi. There are so many. Even Becky Lynch, when she comes back, it's a possibility that if she comes up to the main roster, I have no doubt in my mind she'll be a massive threat to either Liv Morgan or Bianca Belair as champion. Which, I mean, she could be a good asset to either Raw or SmackDown, depending on what brand she goes to. But definitely Alba Fire, I could definitely see that happening. But next up, coming in at number 9, it is none other than big strong boy Tyler Bate. And you guys are wondering, why him? I mean, his accomplishments in WWE, speak for itself. First ever NXT UK champion, the last NXT UK champion, the first ever 2-time champion, former NXT UK tag team champion, former NXT champion. Sorry, former NXT tag team champion. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry guys, I blanked for a second. Yes, 2-time tag team champion, the first and last NXT UK champion, and just that right there speaks for itself. I mean, he's already on NXT. He's been in the ring with Braun Breaker. He's been in the ring with JD McDonough. He's already been in the ring with Von Wagner. There are so many other superstars that he could also be in the ring with on NXT. Apollo Crews, Grayson Waller. Who else can I think of? Damon Kemp is another one that I could definitely see getting called up. Not getting called up. That I could see Tyler Bate facing, but let's say he gets called up to Raw or SmackDown. Think of the men that he could be in the ring with. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio of the Judgment Day, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman. Actually, that would be a really interesting matchup. Otis, Chad Gable. The possibilities for this top 10 list, those who are in this list, the possibilities for them are insanely endless. But with Tyler Bate, there is no end. Literally, there's no end to who he could face. He can even also go up against Seth freaking Rollins. He can go up against Cody Rhodes when he comes back to when he returns from his injury. It's absolutely insane. And also too, let's not forget, Butch is on SmackDown. So if Tyler Bate goes over to SmackDown, who knows? He could potentially join the Brawling Brutes and maybe a little British Strong Style reunion, perhaps. Who knows? Who knows? But coming in at number 8, probably the last group 2 people you would ever see, but the Creed brothers. Honestly, you would think that they would have been called up to the main roster by now, but they're still in NXT. Shoutouts to Starbucks for the coffee, not sponsored. Cold brew, perfect cold brew. Finally had the vanilla syrup finally, but that being said, Creed brothers, former NXT Tag Team Champions, they were dominant as tag team champions, and the teams that are on the main roster now, you've got the Viking Raiders, you've got the New Day, you've got the Brawling Brutes, you've got the Usos, you've got the team of Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn, the Enforcer and the Honorary Uso of the Bloodline, you've got the Street Profits, you've got Alpha Academy, you've got Los Lotharios, Hit Row, Street Profits I've mentioned, and also too, you've got Judgment Day, and you even also have RK Bro if Randy Orton does decide to come back, which we don't know the full extent of his injury. We don't even know if he'll ever come back after that devastating back injury, but I'm sure that that eventually we will see Randy Orton come back to WWE, but the Creed brothers, they've got so much potential. I could definitely see them getting called up to the main roster, potentially by WrestleMania. I would say by WrestleMania week, we could see them there. Coming in at number 7 is not Mandy Rose. It is the other 2 members of Toxic Attraction, JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, and the reason being is because of their performance in the women's tag team title tournament of a little over a month ago. The reason being is because despite Dolan having to deal with an injury, they proved that they deserve to be on the main roster. They're former 2-time tag team champions in NXT. In fact, I think aside from them, the only other team that's been tag team champions on NXT twice are, I think, Dakota Kai and Raquel Rodriguez, if I'm correct. Yes, if I remember right, I think so. Let me see. look back on my book. Let's see. In Your House, WrestleMania Backlash, WrestleMania. Here we are. Stand and Deliver. Yes, right here. Gonzalez and Kai defeated Toxic Attraction with the Shingon, or I guess the Tejada Bomb, to regain the tag team titles. Yeah, so they ended up winning the titles on the kickoff show, mind you, which should not have happened. But I got to admit, it was a I have to admit, this card was actually really good, really good card. I think we crowned we crowned three new champions at NXT Stand and Deliver. A new North American champion, new women's tag team champions, and new NXT tag team champions. Yeah, one of those tag team champions. Yeah, no, they're just. It's pretty much just done from there. But the hell? I just got a comment. Oh, okay. Somebody comment. So before we continue with this, with this top 10, I want to give a shout out. I just checked the comments on one of my episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue, in which if you guys don't know or don't remember, I talked about the pros and cons of the next course set after Photon Hypernova. It is known as Cyberstorm Access, and big shout out to Gustavo Caldas. I probably butchered his last name. He said, "Quote, bro, I know what people think about the Cyber Strike structure deck, but it's a Cyber Dark deck with some synergy with Cyber Dragons. The deck didn't have a single new Cyber Dragon monster. The last Cyber Dragon was released in 2018 in the OCG, which was obviously Noster. I don't see the deck as real Cyber Dragon support, just Cyber Dark and generic cyber support. The archetype really needs direct support. It's all I want from the set." Honestly, I completely agree. I think if we get proper Cyber Dragon support and not Cyber Dark support in Cyberstorm Access, I truly believe that potentially, Cyber Dragons could once again be meta, because they were meta. They were meta. I think when we got the Cyber Dragon structure deck a number of years ago, so it became a little meta. But I completely agree. Shoutouts to him. Shoutouts to Mr. Caldas. Shoutouts to you, dude. Props to you. I actually like that comment. You know what? I'm gonna like that comment because it's fact. It's fact. It was that structure deck, the Cyber Dark, the Cyber Strike deck was just random. Random Cyber Dark support. But with that being said, moving on, going back with Toxic Attraction, hands down, they deserve to be on the main roster. Imagine if they took the WWE Women's Tag Team titles off of Damage Control. They could run the women's division with an iron fist, especially if they were to take the Raw and SmackDown women's titles. Bro, they would be dominant as fuck. But coming in at number 6, and I'm being honest and I'm gonna be completely honest, it's no joke. This trio needs to be on the main roster. Gallus. Think of the 3-man teams that they could be in the ring with. Judgment Day, the Bloodline, literally all three of Rikishi's sons, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa. Think about that. Think about that. Even Imperium, we could also see Imperium, face off against Gallus again. We could see the Brawling Brutes take on Gallus. The possibilities are endless, and Gallus is one of the most dominant trios in NXT UK. And when the rumors of Gallus and several others, getting called up to NXT were discussed, I knew instantly that Gallus was going to take NXT by storm and just rule it with an iron fist, and just basically prove to the world why NXT why NXT was their kingdom, and they're gonna do the same with NXT. But I can definitely see them making SmackDown, or even Raw for that matter, their kingdom. But coming in at number 5, we have none other than the former NXT UK champion, Ilya Dragunov. And the reason why I picked him is 2 reasons. One is because of the fact that he became the only person on the NXT UK roster to make Gunther tap out, or actually pin Gunther to win the NXT UK title. Not only that, but during his this actually brings me to my second to my second reason. During his run as champion, he went up against guys like Rampage Brown, guys like Wolfgang, guys like Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, Noam Dar, JD McDonough. He's been in the ring with some of the best that NXT UK had to offer, and just talking about it is like the big reason why he deserves to be on the main roster, and the talent that he could be in the ring with. It doesn't matter who he goes up against on the main roster, whether it's a former champion or current champion, he will be a massive threat to any champion that he goes up against as champion. He will be a massive threat to their reign as champion, whether it's Roman Reigns, whether it's Gunther, whether it's Bobby Lashley, whether it's it really doesn't matter who he's up against. Either way, he could dominate Raw or SmackDown. But coming in at number 4, we have none other than Cameron Grimes. Probably one of the most odd choices of this bunch, but it makes sense. Because with him on NXT, he's already a former North American champion. He's already a former $1 million champion, or I guess technically the last $1 million champion in WWE. And that right there, he dominated at NXT as North American champion earlier this year to the best of his abilities. Yes, he did lose the title later on, but that title run proved that he's ready for the main roster. Honestly, it really doesn't matter where he goes, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. He will do amazing on either show. But coming in at number 3 is Indy Hartwell. She's been on NXT for so long, she needs to be called up to the main roster. And with the fact that Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano are both on Raw, and with the rumors of potentially Candice LeRae coming back coming up to Raw at some point, sometime in the next year or so, if WWE brought Indy Hartwell into Raw, they could reform the way, and they could dominate WWE with an iron fist. Candice and Indy could become, could win all of the women's gold on the main roster. Gargano and Theory could literally win all the men's gold. They could they could take the tag team titles off of the Usos. One could take the IC title off of Gunta. One could take the US title off of Bobby Lashley. One could, defeat Roman Reigns, take the Undisputed Universal title, and give the other the WWE title while he keeps the Universal title. Imagine if they held all the gold. Just think of how dominant they could be. But Indy Hartwell, her time in NXT is long overdue. She's way past her prime in NXT. She needs to be called up to the main roster. And my brother just texted me. Hang on, guys. Give me 1 second. Literally, wrong place, wrong time. There we go. Anyway, again, her time on NXT, it's way past its prime. She needs to be called up to the main roster soon. But coming in at number 2 is Zoe Stark. I honestly think that she could be a big asset to not the Raw Women's Division, but rather the SmackDown Women's Division. I think with her talent on SmackDown, if she were to team up with someone like potentially potentially Aaliyah or Raquel Rodriguez or even Shotzi, or if she wanted to, she could potentially team up with with someone like Liv Morgan or whatever. She would do great on SmackDown. But this brings us to the number 1 slot, and it's probably the most obvious for obvious reasons. The current NXT champion, Braun Breaker. I don't even have to explain. Braun Breaker is just dominant. He is a dominant NXT champion. He's only been in WWE for a year. A full calendar year. And he's already a 2-time NXT champion. Name one other person who's ever done that in WWE. No one. Hardly. In fact, I can't even think of one person who in his rookie year became a 2-time champion, who has held a specific title twice in a year. I've never seen anything like that. And Braun Breaker is one of them, which is insane. That right there just speaks volume of why he deserves to be on the main roster. But that brings me to the question of the day. Who do you guys think should have been on this top 10 list? And who do you think deserves to be called up to the main roster? Let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more top 10 videos in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And as always, make sure you guys follow me on all of my social media. Links will be in the description below. And as always, if you guys have any family that you guys want to send me, the info will be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.